Assalamualaikum and good day to Dr. Shamsul. We are from Group 1 and we will be presenting about the strength and the weaknesses of Malthusian theory. I'm Nur Husnina binti Muhammad Yunus and I will be presenting the introduction of this presentation. Malthusian theory came from an individual named Thomas Robert Malthus. The topics that he was interested were population growth, the methodology of GDP accounting, value theory, diminishing returns, land rent, and aggregate demand. He wrote Principle of Population in 1798 and an expanded version came out 5 years after in 1803. He also wrote Principle of Political Economy in 1820. During his writing, there were two major controversies that attracted Malthus' attention. The first one is the increase in poverty and the controversy over what to do about it. The unemployment and poverty were increasingly visible problems calling for immediate remedial treatment. The next one is the controversy over the so-called corn law, which is the law that placed tariff on imported grain and effectively placed a minimum price on grain imported to England from abroad. That's all from me.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Shafiq and I will explain to you the strength of Malthusian theory. Next slide. The first strength is he predicted that population will increase in a geometrical progression. But by how we can know by this, that he explained that humans have a natural sex instinct that accelerate the population to increase at the rapid rate by having the natural sex instinct, so it will increase the population. And in fact, do you know that the population of Africa was around 177 million in 1950 and it grew 7.6 times to more than 1.341 billion in 2020. Next slide. And he also suggested to prevent this overpopulation by provide two types, which is the preventive checks and the positive check. The first preventive check is to control before the overpopulation, which is the birth control, and the positive check, which is war, disease, pestilence, floods, and other natural calamities. And in fact, in 1980s, the one-child policy was part of a broad program designed to control the size of rapidly growing population of the People's Republic of China. So that is the strength of Malthusian theory. So next slide.
I am Shazana. I will explain about the weakness of Malthusian theory. First, failed to foresee the opening up of new areas. During that time, Malthus had a narrow vision and was particularly influenced by local conditions in England. He failed to foresee the opening up of new areas such as Australia, United States, and Argentina, where extensive farming of virgin lands led to increase of production of food. As a result, countries like England on the continent of Europe have been provided with the supplies of cheap food. This has been made possible with rapid improvement in the means of transport, a factor which almost overlooked by the Malthus. Hence, no country need to fear starvation and misery if it does not produce sufficient for its increasing population these days. Next.
Okay, I'm Balkish and I will be the weakness of Malthus. One of the weaknesses is that he underestimated the technical changes. Malthus greatly underestimated the technical changes in increasing productivity in food production. He did not anticipate the changes such as the massive substitution of tractors for horses and other farm animals, the mechanization of farming, use of chemical pesticides, and also fertilizer. Although that the population increased rapidly, but the food supply also increased due to developments. Experts from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, believe that on a global scale, there are still sufficient land resources to feed the world population in the future. This proves that there was weakness in Malthus' theory, which is he underestimated the technical changes in the future. That's all. Next.
I'm Nurhanina. I will be concluding the presentation. Malthusian theory of population has been receiving a lot of critics from academic scholars. However, his contribution in this academy is still important. The population growth theory by Malthus is relevant to poor developed country as this country tend to have limited resources. However, the growth of population also generating more manpower in the economy to do the production activity, to generate more resources such as food, as one of the production factor, manpower is important. It is also being criticized as the data of population he stated is just roughly without any solid figure. And to summarize the points here is that the importance to distribute and allocate production factors such as labor and capital at optimal level. Thank you.